Let's go to the NFC.
Okay.
Damn it, I had a good point. Anyways, okay. Number 7.
It'll come back to you.
The number 7 team in the NFC, Minnesota Vikings.
It's wild, too.
They had the worst loss.
They did have the worst loss.
Sam Darnold.
Most overrated division of all time.
Yeah.
That's probably a stretch.
I mean, the Lions loss is going to stand out as just the craziest.
I know, dude.
Sam Darnold, free agent. Only free agent on this list. Top 7 guys that are free agents. Teams should be salivating.
Yeah.
I think every team should be salivating over Darnold as well.
He's different to me than
He's
Wilson
only 28.
because he's younger.
Yeah. Okay, so NFC, Sam Darnold, Vikings. Like the Steelers, for some reason, the Vikings are like, we're good. I mean, J.J. McCarthy, I guess, is that reason.
I think they're going to bring him back.
And we're, okay, yeah, and I think you're in the minority on this opinion, big time.
I might be.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thinks he's coming back.
Unless they could, I guess if they can't get him to sign for a friendly deal and he gets thrown a ton of money elsewhere, he's gone for sure. But I feel like from Sam's perspective and his agent's perspective, maybe not his agent, but from Sam's perspective, he should be like, this was a really good fit for me. This was a good spot. It like rejuvenated my career. I want to be here and I want to keep growing and playing. That doesn't happen too often in sports nowadays, but every so often it does. And I just got a little bit of a feeling that Sam Darnold is that type of guy when you consider how his career trajectory has gone up to this point. He's in a good situation, and I think he'll realize that. But I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, well, everyone else thinks I'm...
You're basically saying he's going to turn down like $10 million extra to stay with the Vikings?
I could see
that's insane.
I could see him turning down more money. It's not it wouldn't be the first time that's happened. That happens a fair amount in sports. You know, it really does.
You have a good heart, Ross. You have a really good heart.
Yeah,
there's no way he's turning down the money.
Well, it depends on what the offer he gets from Minnesota. Like if Minnesota gives him a good offer and maybe a higher salary per year, but a shorter contract yearly wise from another team, he can maybe
that's the franchise. Like they can franchise tag him.
They could franchise tag him.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that at all. If they sign him to a 2-year deal for a ton of money per year compared to like another team that's like, we'll pay you 5 years, darn near a max salary.
I think O'Connell has already, the body language is there. He basically said thank you for your service after the playoff game.
Well, we'll see.
I called O'Connell McConnell, by the way, on a pod. Sometimes I go back and listen to these things.
That's an easy thing to do.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. I get hard on myself.
Come back to the Niners, Sammy.
And we're going to talk coaches a lot too. Speaking of the Niners, you got your boy Saleh back.
Big signing.
That's exciting. Okay, Darnold, number 7.
Okay.
Well, let's just talk about what the best fit for him would be if it's not the Vikings.
Oh gosh.
Raiders, Browns, Colts, Titans, and Giants are, I think, the obvious 5 teams that are going heavy after a QB. There are some teams on the fence, I guess you could say. The Steelers looks like they're getting rid of Wilson and Fields. They obviously need a QB. What are the Dolphins in Tua's future? What are the Jets with Rodgers' futures? The Seahawks, we got some talks about Geno getting traded maybe. What are the Seahawks going to do? Looks like the Niners are locked in with Purdy.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's talks of him getting a huge contract.
Yeah, talks for a while. So hopefully it's not too big.
Are the Saints running with Derek Carr?
Yeah, good question. That's what I was thinking.
The Panthers, they're locked in with Bryce, but how's that going to go?
Yeah.
And then the Vikings, of course, with the McCarthy-Darnold situation. Of these teams, where do you see Darnold fitting well?
Yeah,
or best?
Great question. I mean, the Raiders seem nice to me.
The Raiders are. Why do the Raiders feel attrattive? They do. But they're in the fucking hardest. The AFC West had 3 playoff teams this year.
I think because the coach vibes,
the Brady vibe,
and the Brady vibe.
Yeah.
The Brady vibe's a big one.
Honestly. The Marshawn vibe.
Yeah, the Marshawn
as team
vibe.
Mascot, basically.
Yeah, that was funny. He was yelling Raiders at the Pete
That's
Carroll's
big.
press conference. That was funny. A Jets reunion doesn't seem that far fetched to me for some reason. I kind of look at the board and think like maybe he goes back there. The Titans I feel like they're going to draft a QB, right? So
they draft him, and then Levis maybe just competes with the new draft guy. They have Mason Rudolph, who did decent.
Yeah,
as well.
He's not terrible.
So I think we'll see the Titans they're going to draft Ward, and then those three will compete.
And so it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to want to throw big money at a QB this offseason.
They have the first pick.
Yeah, they got the first pick. Colts, maybe.
Colts.
Ooh, you like that one?
I love the Colts for Darnold. I mean,
that actually
can you not
makes
see
sense.
that?
Yeah, no, you're right. The Colts maybe for sure.
Same.
You're convincing me here.
You know, if maybe there's something about the Vikings have good regular seasons often. I think I've mentioned this. I think there's like dome relation to that. It's like they know what they can do. They don't have to worry about elements. I'm just stuck on weather and the elements. So like, you know, Darnold's going to an Indy similar kind of home environment. And you could see him ripping off in that weak-ass AFC South, too.
Yeah, true.
Like, Texans are vulnerable. I think we see Darnold
go to the Colts. That makes a lot of sense. He like, kind of fits that vibe. I mean, sort of Andrew Luck, kind of Peyton Manning, kind of Joe Flacco, kind of
the white
Sam
boys,
Darnold.
yeah.
Wait, well, you said it.
Nobody wants to go to the Browns.
No. Giants? They're going to draft a QB too, right?
Giants are in New York, and they have Raiders have the 6th pick. Giants have like the 3, I think. They have 3rd.
Yeah. They'll probably draft a QB.
They'll probably get Shador, but I haven't looked into. So the research I did for this, I did not look at any rookies yet. So that'll be a further pod. This is just kind of existing quarterbacks. So let's continue with the NFC rankings, though. We're gonna hop back and forth.
I think we're good there with Jets, Colts, Raiders, potential big landing spots for Sammy, and the Vikings.
Shit. Okay, let's stay on this.
No.
I really want to. Okay.
Okay. My bad.
The Steelers, right?
Yeah.
They don't sign.
They could bring him in too.
Right. Or they don't sign Wilson and Fields, right? Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Comes down to Pittsburgh to just give it one last shot.
I like it.
Knows that the institution's strong. He's going to get his 10, 11 wins during the regular season, so he'll be in a situation at least to compete in the playoffs. And then that opens up the Jets' position for potentially a Darnold as well, if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I can see drop these tidbits in there in case we're right.
Rodgers in the black and yellow bumping some Wiz Khalifa would be pretty fun.
It's the team he beat when he won the Super Bowl.
That's true.
Ryan
Clark
would
be out. He would not be stoked.
But that would be like part of Aaron's decision to troll Clark.
Yeah, troll him. I love it.
This is fun. Okay. Back to the NFC.
Okay.
Number 6 team in quarterback, the Green Bay Packers, and Jordan Love.
Do you know Jordan Love had the 5th best QBR this season out of all the quarterbacks?
Yeah, I was keeping track of it.
Isn't that amazing?
He was a top, and in the combination of the rankings, he was a top 8 guy. Love is staying put. Not much to talk about there. Packers at 6 feels about right. It's cool to look at the AFC comps too. It's like Vikings and Broncos. Okay.
Yeah.
Packers and Chargers.
Okay. Yeah.
Baker and the Bucks, the 5th best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
Good spot for them.
Good spot. Baker had a good year.
Baker ain't going nowhere. If I'm a Bucks fan, I feel pretty decent, even though it was a really disappointing wild card home loss.
Yeah.
I'm not mad if I'm the Bucks. They did lose their offensive coordinator, who we'll talk about, to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Duval.
Yeah.
They may have some question marks personnel-wise. I just hope Mike Evans gives it another go. And Godwin's back gets fully healthy. I mean, McMillan showed a lot of promise late in the season. Baker's going to have some weapons to get the ball to. Obviously, have a great running game.
Bucky Irvin's got a season under his belt.
Rashad, maybe we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, they got pieces, man. They could be really good next year.
And they're going to compete with the Penix Falcons next year for the South. The South is kind of always wide open, though. You never really know.
Wide open.
Even though the Bucks, I guess, have won it 4 years in a row now.
Yeah.
The South.
But it always seems like, what you're saying. It doesn't really.
Anybody can beat anybody.
It doesn't really seem like someone's dominating. What about Derek Carr? and the Saints.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you do. I said that just for you.
Number 4 quarterback of the NFC and team, the Detroit Lions, and Jared Goff.
Tough playoff performance.
Seems sacrilege to put the Lions on par with the Texans. But
yeah, it does.
When they played, remember, very close game.
It was a
Goff
close
threw
game.
5 picks.
Yeah.
There were some signs there with the Lions.
There were some
maybe.
signs
In
there.
hindsight, there were some
Interesting.
So Lions, Texans. Sorry. Do better, Lions, and you'll get a higher rank.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. A lot of people are saying that he just has this kind of ceiling come playoff time. He can't live up to the pressure. I equate the Lions to the Ravens and Goff to Lamar. I mean, not in like obviously playing style, but just in terms of their kind of their ceiling so far, you know. And I mean, to be fair, Goff even made a Super Bowl. Lamar hasn't.
Yeah.
So that's my comp.
That's interesting.
Stafford and the Rams, the third best team in the NFC this year, out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Horrible
really turned
start.
on late.
Matt Stafford, just end of the day, he gets it done.
Pretty solid.
You want him over Goff. Oh, the trade.
The trade.
He won the trade.
So far.
You want him over Goff, Baker, Jordan Love, even. You want Stafford. I know Love's flashier. Stafford's going to win you ball games.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I feel like all those spots are just can mix and match and you'd be fine.
Well, there's my old guy Love again. Stafford's been doing this for a long time.
He has, and he just announced he's coming back.
We love that. And then our top 2 in the NFC for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Jayden Daniels and Jalen Hurts.
10 years is a long time.
You know, you look at the other guys underneath them.
Yeah.
Who's going to step up and compete with these teams moving forward? The thing about the Commanders is that they got Jayden Daniels on a rookie contract.
Yep.
They have the 3rd most cap space in the NFL.
Yep.
So all the talk immediately is like this roster is going to look very different next year. I mean, that's these are very. I know I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But these are very hard things to overcome if you're another team, and this team now has all this space to spend money.
What do you spend money on?
Defense.
Yeah, I think it totally changed
Defense
this
and
past
line.
week. It's like they're gonna need they're going to need a lot of defense. That's one thing I was thinking about. It's like Bobby Wagner. So you're going to need a stud linebacker.
Khalil Mack.
Another.
Khalil Mack is what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you could get an edge rusher like Khalil Mack. You can get, I mean.
Corners, we need corners.
You're going to need interior line to, be successful in that division as long as Saquon's in Philly and Philly's running the ball the way they are. You're going to, I mean, Lattimore, I hate to say it. I mean, he looks a little washed.
Give him an off season. I feel good about Lattimore, actually. I still think that he could even have a Pro Bowl season next year. He got a lot of crap for his performance, but I think it was I don't know. I think that it was just high pressure, high stakes, and people were ready to jump on him. I mean,
he's certainly proven that he can be an incredible DB in the league. He's had a great career, but he is older.
That AJ Brown rivalry going forward is amazing. I mean, I like Lattimore's IDGAF mentality, and that I like guys that kind of take it a little too far sometimes.
Yeah.
It has to. It's an art form. You can't go too wild with that stuff. But I mean, you look at. So my biggest takeaway from last weekend is just how strong the Chiefs and Eagles are.
Yeah.
Just from the middle out.
Yeah.
They're
totally.
just too fucking strong.
Yeah.
So, you just got to load up with that strength in the core and go from there.
Yeah, well, and you're right. I mean, it's a really good sign for Washington that they have a lot of cap space and they're, now a very attractive place for free agents to want to play. I just hope that they can pull the right strings and bring in the right personnel in. Like, I mean, I know earlier this year we were talking about like Tyreek and T. Higgins going there. If I was them, I'd be like, I think we're probably going to put our money elsewhere. I mean, because Daniels can make average receivers good and good receivers great, which is what Brady did throughout the course of his career. And I think if they can focus, some of the spending on O-line, D-line, and everybody on defense and upgrade, then they will be one of the better teams in the NFC for the next 10 years. And specifically while Daniels is on this rookie contract.
Yeah. I mean, I think, though, we have the money to do both.
Okay.
We have the money to still. DK Metcalf is in talks. He's a little older. T. Higgins is the obvious guy that is just would be so attractive to have him and McLaurin on the ends.
I don't like T there.
Interesting.
No. Yeah.
I mean, we do forget sometimes. I'm totally with you. It's like build it from the center out with strength and position players. Like we see it with running backs. Like they're kind of disposable. There's so much talent out there. You can kind of fill in the position players if you have the right quarterback and the right nucleus at the line. But we also do forget about how important star receivers are. Yeah. I mean, it does matter having to have a T and McLaurin now that you have to guard downfield. I mean, if we can pull that off, we have like $78 million in space, so we can get him and take care of our other needs. Yeah. That'd be ideal.
I feel like I would rather have Metcalf as long as he came cheaper, and I feel like someone like Tyreek could do so much for that offense in terms of like having to guard somebody that's just a freakish athlete speed-wise and can stretch the field. I really like T. Higgins. He reminds me a lot of Brandon Ayuk in that, like, he doesn't really have something that jumps out in terms of, like, he is absolutely excellent in this one area. He's just really good in a lot of areas. Like, Brandon Ayuk's probably best quality is that he's a terrific route runner. I feel like T. Higgins' best quality is that he's probably a terrific route runner. But how much does T benefit in the Cincinnati offensive system, knowing that Jamar's on the other side and demanding a lot of attention?
And he has Burrow throwing to him.
Yeah. So I guess if you do, now if you have Terry and T, double T, which would be kind of cool.
Tea time.
Then I like it. So then, I mean, maybe he would get some good matchups. I certainly don't want to knock T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is a great football player. I just wonder if there are other better options out there for them.
Well, it comes down to cost. How much is he going to cost?
Right. Good point.
Yeah. And maybe since Tyreek is basically kind of demanding a trade, we don't know if he'll backpedal from that. If I was just
it
emotions
seems like
after
he
the
is
season.
kind of
Generally, when the player is and when a team in front office is in that position, they're not getting 100 cents on the dollar, right? It's like you got to trade them for like maybe a second rounder, probably a third, and we've seen that in history where like AJ Brown, like where you get these trades like what they got that guy for a second rounder, or so if we can pull something like that off with Tyreek. 100%.
Yeah, right. You don't have to give up too much.
Maybe like, because we have late picks too. So like a late second rounder for Tyreek, I'm almost saying, is that too much?
Yeah.
So, but that's what's going to happen in negotiations. And that's why you can get like, if we can get like a third rounder and maybe like a future third or something, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. I do agree. Cost wise, all things considered, and Tyreek in that offense would be pretty great. We just don't have like a big guy like a T.
Yeah, or DK.
Right.
Would be a monster.
Okay, well, we could spend a lot of time talking about it.
No, it's really interesting. It's going to be cool to see what Washington does moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, they are here to stay, and they're just going to get better.
I feel better again.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick break.
Do it.
Be right back.